Hi everyone, it's Ardith. Thanks so much for dropping by. Today I have a fun shaped card featuring a new stamp set from A Jillian Vance Design called Many Thanks. It has these life-size fingers with some punny sentiments and even some tiny images so that you can make your own nail art. I started with 2 panels of white cardstock together to form the shaped card. You could use repositionable glue to hold them together if you like. I laid them on the grid on my work surface and I marked a spot 1/2 inch in from each edge with a pencil. I then trimmed from each corner to the mark to create a coffee cup shape. To form the card, I simply scored one of the cups at about 3/8 of an inch from the top, and I folded it back before putting some permanent glue on it and pressing the 2 panels together. The cup with the fold will be the back of the card. Next, I used my mini MISTI to stamp the fingers onto my cup. I wanted to do some no-line coloring, so I used antique linen distress ink, and I stamped it off once onto a piece of scrap paper, so the outlines would be really light on my cardstock. And although I hadn't planned it that way, that scrap paper became my mask in the next step. I simply cut it out with some sharp scissors and then held it in place with some more temporary adhesive. I used some 1-inch Post-it tape to mask off the sleeve of my coffee cup, again using the grid on my work surface to make sure everything was straight. I pulled out 2 brown inks from Catherine Pooler Designs, Sandcastle and Over Coffee, and I used one of my new blending brushes to blend the ink all over. Later this week I'll have a full video where I talk more about these brushes. They're something quite new, and so far I'm really enjoying using them. I blended quite a lot of the lighter ink onto the spaces, and then I blended the darker ink along the one side to give a hint of dimension on the cup. You can see that the area looked a bit splotchy as I removed all the masks, but as it dried, it evened up and became really smooth. Next, I did some Copic coloring. I started with the fingers, using a couple of markers in the E50 family to create shading and dimension on each one. The shapes are quite simple, so it's not difficult to color them, but these areas are quite large, and both of those markers are now in my Need a Refill pile. Next came the fun part, the nails. I actually Googled manicure so I could see how to make them look shiny, and it's super simple. I chose a dark red and filled in the bottom third of each nail with it. Then I blended it out with a lighter red, bringing it up to about half full. Then I started with the lighter red from the top of each nail, and I brought it down to just about meet the darker area, but I left a small thin white area as a highlight. Look how real that looks! To finish the card, I put the mask back over the fingers and I stamped coffee and the tiny nail art daisy on the cup sleeve. I stamped a punny polished sentiment on the bottom of the card with VersaFine Claire Nocturne. I also created a cup lid by simply cutting a strip of white cardstock. And that's it! I hope you enjoyed this video. Shopping links are below and on Jillian's blog. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.